Hey, everybody. It is Rashauna Scott, and thanks so much for tuning in to the Flippin' and Heels presents prestigious Women in Real Estate Virtual Summit. I'm so glad you guys are joining here today, and today I have a very special guest all the way from the West Coast, Miss Shawneequa Badger. Welcome.
Hello, hello, hello.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Oh no, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So, obviously, the purpose of this summit, as you guys know, is for those who are either already in real estate and you're looking to take your career to the next level, or maybe you've been considering getting your real estate license and you just don't know where to start, or you're shopping around for a brokerage, you don't know what questions to ask, or you're just, you just have 1,001 questions about real estate. And so the purpose of the summit is to talk to the experts, talk about what worked, what didn't work, and just hear their success stories and pretty much just how they're rocking the way they're rocking in their market. So, Shawneequa, tell us a little bit about yourself and your market.
So I am a 14-year veteran of the real estate game. I just celebrated my 14th year in January, at the end of January. I,
Woohoo! Congrats.
yeah, I started in 2004, and I didn't start because most people go, oh, it's a great market and I want to get in, or I looked up to a certain real estate agent and I really wanted to follow in their steps. I really got into the business out of necessity because I had lost my job and I was like, okay, what next? And
Hmm.
so I remember that I have a dear friend of mine who is, uh, he had started working as an admin at a commercial real estate firm. And they had talked him into getting his real estate license. And I was like, and he was like, you should totally get your real estate license. And I go, I don't want to get my real estate license. My dad is studying for his real estate license. Like I equated that to something that old people did. And so I was like, I don't want to do this. And so he talked me into it. And this was before I actually got laid off. But of course I had the books just sitting in my uh, kitchen, on the counter. And when I got laid off, all of a sudden I was like, well, maybe I should actually open those books and start studying.
Right.
I need a plan B now, clearly. So I did, and the rest has been history. But the ironic thing to this, the ironic piece of the story is that friend that talked me into getting my real estate license when he was an admin of the company. He's now the senior VP of Colliers Parish International, which is one
Wow.
of the largest commercial real estate firms in the world. So, that just says where, real estate can take you wherever you want it to take you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's a great point as far as segueing into, I guess you could say, pretty much my next question. So, as far as real estate taking you where you wanted to take you, so you've been in real estate for 14 years now. So, you're obviously full time. So, how long did it take for you to go full time in real estate? Was it back and forth? As far as like working a part time job or going back and forth, or was it, once you got started, was it full throttle real estate? That's it. That's all.
For me, I went back and forth for many years, and a lot of it is because my mindset was, I lived in the struggle mindset, which I call it. The I'm paying attention to every dollar. I'm thinking about the cost of everything. I'm thinking about things from a very short term perspective. And I really didn't, to be honest, have the guidance to really see a long term vision in my real estate career. So it was very easy for me to say a job was a safety net. So I absolutely, for many years, would go back and forth from full time real estate to, full time, working in real estate part time. And I think for me, sometimes I would be able to see the change in the market coming, and so my safety net was go get a job. I'm gonna go get a job. The market is changing.
Right.
That was how I adapted to the market, and which is really not. logical whatsoever if you wanted this to be your career. But it wasn't until I would say 2009, and you would say 2009, Shawneequa, that wasn't it the middle of the foreclosure crisis?
Right.
Yes, 2009. I decided to go full time in real estate, and it worked out for me because I eventually I hustled like nobody's business. If anybody knows me, they know I'm a connector. I'm really good at networking with people. And this is like genuine networking. It's not about, being seen with people, but this is genuinely building relationships and networking. And I got, within a year of trying, I got invited to become a preferred listing agent for the largest asset management company in the country. And immediately I started getting foreclosed listings sent to me.
Nice.
So while other people, which were the big dogs of real estate, were really struggling and couldn't figure out how to sustain business in a really challenging time in our real estate market, I was doing very well. And all of a sudden they wanted to have coffee with me to talk about how I was doing in real estate. What were my secrets? And these were all of the people that didn't have time for me when I was a struggle agent. They were doing amazing. So 2009 is when I decided to transition full time, and I've been full time ever since.
Oh, nice. Full time ever since 2009, in the middle of the market crash.
Yes.
Now that's a success story for you, definitely.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So I love your story. So thank you so much for sharing that. Two key words that I really picked out from what you just said were hustle and network. And I think, and I'm sure you can, share that. I think that those are two things that new agents, they sometimes miss the mark, right? They think, it's funny because I've talked to people and they're like, yeah, well, I've gotten my real estate license because, it's the easy way to make money. And I'm like, who told you this was going to be easy? First of all, and then the next thing is, as far as the network, there's a number of different ways that we can get leads, right? We can do cold calling, we can do direct mail, we can talk about all of those, but let's not discount the value of networking. I mean, I just, took on a listing myself by, again, just networking, just getting out and meeting people and talking to people and telling people what you do. So with that being said, what would you say, I guess, besides hustle or network, or you can add to that, what would you say are, some of the top mistakes that new agents make when looking to get involved in this business?
Well, I think they first underestimate the real estate business itself, right? So it's not like, it's kind of like how I equate buyers and their perception of the buying process and what they see on HGTV. It's nothing like what you see on $1 Million Listing.
Right.
What most new agents don't realize is your schedule. You live by your schedule. You become very disciplined. You create the right priorities. You get committed to the right process, and you're focused on the right things. And that's how people who are operating at a very high level can stay at a very high level, and they're consistent. And many times my mornings start at 4:35 in the morning. Do I have the option to sleep in until 8 or 9? Hell yeah, I do. Do I do it? No. Because it doesn't support what I want my outcome from a 5-year forecast. It doesn't support that. So, and even sometimes I have to say, have I earned my weekends being off? And if I haven't earned my weekends being off, then I'm still out hunting for the next kill. So, people who are new need to understand this is not an easy career, and it's not a job either. So if you want to act like you're a high paid employee, that's one thing, but I guarantee you that won't get you through a recession. That will not get you through changes in life. That will not get you through anything that will impact your business. So really understand how the dynamics of our business is before you get into it, so you can make the right amount of commitment while you're in our business.
Yeah, absolutely. And, being serious about getting involved in the business. And then once you get in the business, figuring out ways to stay in the business, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it's one thing to get there, but it's another whole different dynamic to stay there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that being said, how would you say you remain unique amongst the thousands and thousands of agents that there are in your market? And, and you can tell us a little bit about your market. Where primarily do you do business? Where do you like to do business? And kind of what's going on in your market? And yeah, pretty much just what sets you apart from the other agents.
Well, my market is the San Francisco Bay Area. And if anyone knows anything about the San Francisco Bay Area, it was the first real estate market to recover from the recession.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the number two economy in the country and the number six economy in the world. I'm a San Jose native, and so most of the wealth that you see in the San Francisco Bay Area, people don't realize comes out of San Jose. So I grew up in the capital of Silicon Valley. And so one of the things that makes me very, very unique is, I'm a top producing agent. And I think people need to know that off top, I'm a little bit unique because in an area that is very diverse. Now, don't get diversity confused with inclusive, because those are two different things.
Right.
But know that I am a person of color. I am unapologetically Black, and I have an unapologetically Black name. So off top, I am very unique in what I do, how I present myself. There's not too many people that are operating at my level in the San Francisco Bay Area and being a top producing real estate agent, and that are, to be honest, Black in closing business. And so that makes me very unique, and how I'm able to present myself and always be evolving and changing, and the creativity in my marketing, or how, me getting in front of people and how I deliver information. Um, I tell people, look, I could discuss the message of wealth building in the church house or in the strip club. It doesn't much matter to me. My laptop and projector works anywhere. So, being able to get out and having conversations and being very relatable all at the same time and still operating at this level has made me very unique, and still very approachable in this market. So it's helped me do very, very well.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, well, I'm actually taken back by it. I'm just like that. This is awesome. Just listening to your story, and listening to what most people use as an excuse, as far as, like you said, there may not be a lot of Blacks in your area, and if they are, they're definitely not playing in the space that you're playing in, and you at one point weren't playing in that space, so you had to perform at a level to get there, and now that you're there, it's like nobody can touch you.
Yeah.
And so I think people are, I don't know, what do you think, call is the number one reason that people are afraid to play in the spaces of the bigger price point homes?
Well, I think they, for some reason, they think that this is not for them. Oh, I can't do that.
Right.
Nobody that looks like me are buying homes in those price points. And that's unfortunate that that's the way that they are programmed, but that doesn't have to be the narrative, because, again, I know a good majority of my clientele are Black. And I know that there's a lot of people that are out here that are Black, that make well over $150,000, can absolutely buy somewhere And so being able to even have a certain level of conversation so they so they can see the strategy, because if you allow the news and the media to tell you, they'll say it is freaking expensive out here. Nobody can afford anything. Everybody's homeless. You allow the media to talk to you and get in your head. That's what you think.
Right.
Um, but for people that are very analytical, which engineers typically are, um, if they start looking at the numbers and they're presented well and they're presented right in a way that people can understand them, and where that people can actually um, uh, see the long game in it, then it becomes attainable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's and it's funny because, like you said, there's nobody buying it at that looks like me at that price point, or nobody can afford it that looks like me or is my color. Well, guess what? The color of money is green. Okay,
Yeah,
so
everybody's in the same currency.
okay, so it's like, if you allow that to be your excuse, as to why you don't go after the bigger deals, then guess what? Then you'll remain in the lower price points. And it's all about, if you have that mindset that nobody is going to do business with you because they don't look like you, then yeah, you're probably right. They probably won't, because you are stuck in that mindset.
And then too, it's also about, what are you speaking into your business?
Mm-hmm.
The power of the tongue is very powerful. It's as powerful as the mind is. And so we allow the mind and the tongue to get in cahoots with one another without controlling those two spaces of power and influence. Man, they are a business killer all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just a few questions that I want to shoot at you really quick. Again, just again, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for just sharing your expertise and just keeping it real, right? Because I think a lot of people look at top performing agents, and again, they say, "Oh, I can never reach that price point, or I wish my business looked like theirs." But again, if you're praying over your business, what are you talking, what are you saying about your business? Are you setting goals? Are you writing it down? Are you around people that think and talk like so I think all of those are really essential when it comes to running and growing a successful business, especially in real estate, because real estate is a people business. And if you can't get along with people, then you're definitely in the wrong industry.
On,
So,
on Twice on Sunday.
all right. So how would you say, as far as developing an abundant mindset in real estate, what does that look like, and how has that helped shape your business?
Well, you know what? I think again, it's not something that's happened overnight, because I think culturally we are mentally trained to say something else and do something else, and so it's required a lot of mindset coaching for myself, and even, like, again, being around the right people that are saying different things than what I'm used to hearing, and forcing me to think a different way, which has made me very uncomfortable many times. But it's actually in the last maybe 2 to 3 years, like, all of a sudden I've gone through an awakening, and it's really kind of evident in how my business has exploded. So I think the training of the mind is really important. So, every morning, I'm up praying, I'm meditating, I'm writing in my journal. My coach has a very specific journal where we write down, what are we grateful for? What are the things that have made us happy in the past 24 hours? What are our goals? What are we going to accomplish in the next 24 hours? And we're writing them down, and then we're affirming them vocally. And so the things that we are able to profess and speak and write down and make very plain is really helpful in getting our minds right. It really does help me put the binoculars, I mean, the blinders on in the morning, and really kind of getting through the day.
Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, that's good. Definitely. And then as far as even getting through today, how do you manage, a business and being a wife and a mother and having friends and a social life? Like how do you just manage all of that?
Well, I'm not a wife yet.
Oh, not yet. All right.
Not a wife yet, but what I think that happens, for me, um, I've had to. This is one of the things that I've had to kind of get beyond, and coaching has helped me do that. My business coach has really helped me do this, which was creating a balance for family and home. Because I was so busy doing the business that sometimes I neglected family. And
Hmm.
so now, you see me actually taking entire weekends off, which is, very unrare. That was very rare for me, as I was starting to get my business going. But now, sometimes you see me taking whole weekends off.
Yeah.
Or just chilling all weekend and doing absolutely nothing, which is absolutely necessary and uh, part of investing in your family. And so I think more than not, we have to be very aware of what the needs of our family are. And so, one of the things that I did this year, which is very different than I've ever done, is normally when I do my business planning, I plan my calendar, I'm doing what I'm doing for my business. But this year, part of my exercise for doing my business plan was to do my personal life plan first.
Love it.
So if I committed the same amount of energy to my personal life as I did to my business plan, then it would be done. So I created that as a priority, and again, that was a mental shift for me. And
Hmm.
so it's definitely changed in how much time I'm spending with my daughter, and um, what her and I are even talking about, and how I'm able to uh, kind of get out of my day while when she comes home from school, and how I'm able to kind of get out of work mode. All
Hmm.
that is aided in me being able to be the mom and even daughter, to my parents. It's really quite it's really been helpful in me having a better balance. And I think what I find in a lot of people that are around me who are in the business, especially women, we go through the career fields. Oh my God, I can't make that. I can't make that at the school. I can't be there for this because I'm so married into my career. And so we have to find a way to create that balance, or else at the end, you won't be happy, and you will be burnt out.
Hmm. Absolutely. And how do your clients react to that? As far as if they want to schedule a showing on the weekend, or do you have somebody on your team handle that, or is that usually a positive reaction? Do they respect it? Do they understand? How is that that transition? How have they taken that?
Well, luckily, people know me before they know me, right?
Okay.
Uh, they have the opportunity to Google me. They can see me on Instagram. They can see me on see some of my posts on Facebooks on different sites. Um, And so they can see who I am off top. They know I'm a mother. They know I'm a businesswoman. They know I'm successful. I'm all these different things. And so it makes it very easy to be transparent in what the needs of my life are with my clients, because off top they go, "Oh yeah, I see your beautiful daughter. So yeah, no problem."
Mm-hmm.
And so they understand that they don't feel like I need to be connected at the hip with them 24 hours a day, because they know once I'm in the trenches with them, I'm in the trenches with them. And that's pretty much a lot of my time, even if I'm not there.
Right.
But, also, I have a team now. And so now I'm able to explain to people while I'm going through the consultation process, hey, if I'm not there, which is going to be very rare, I still have an extension of myself through one of my team members that will help you get you through whatever um, scenario you need to get through. So
Right.
they're aware off top that it's not just me. So which is really very helpful.
Good, 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 good. Okay. So, a few last questions here. So, what would you say, as a new agent? You know, if you could go back and do it again, what would you have done differently? You know, what was a mistake that you made or something that you learned, you know, down the line that you said, man, I should have been doing this from the beginning?
Oh, I say this all the time. I say I wish I would have had a coach.
Mm, okay.
Oh my gosh. So in 2017 I actually hired a business coach, and it's been life changing.
Okay.
I really, 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 really wish I had hired a coach. I didn't even know that real estate coaches existed
Mm-hmm.
until maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I'm like, what do you mean you guys have a coach?
Right. Yeah, they do. They
Yeah,
do.
I
Yeah.
had no idea. And then to even get to the point where I realized that there were top performing business people that have coaches.
Mm.
What? You
Right.
know, and they would equate it to, like, look, Steph Curry still has a coach.
True, he does. That's a really good analogy.
Yeah.
That's a
Kobe still
great
had a coach
that's a
until
great analogy.
up until his last game. He still had a coach. And so you start thinking about people who are, they're champions.
Right.
That's what we perceive them. They are champions. They're at the top
Hmm.
of their games, and they still have a coach. And so, um, I would say that that has been the biggest impact in my business, because now I can see the long game. I can understand how to have a leveraged life and a leverage business. Um, but yeah, by far none. If I would have had a coach years ago, I would have absolutely been a millionaire already.
Nice. Okay, you guys hear it. You heard it here first. Get a coach, and then you can be a millionaire within your first year of being in real estate. Okay. All right. Okay. Next question. So, as far as the 90-day rule, so what's this 90-day rule that that real estate agents should be, you know, in tune with?
90 days is really easy. So it takes 90 days for you to plant a seed and see the harvest, and start seeing the fruit from your harvest. So if you're going to do something that you want to see impact on your business, what you start doing now, and if you're consistent with doing something now, whether it's door knocking, whether it's prospecting, like on phones with cold calling, something, whatever and I always say pick two things, because what happens is, you don't pick two things to stick to those two things out of the 6, the 7, the 10 that you could possibly do to kind of do lead generation, then what happens is you pick this one over here. Oh, that one's not going to work. Then I'm going to go to this one over here. Okay, that's not working either. Okay, maybe I'll go to this one over here. So you need to pick two things that you're going to do for 90 days. And then in 90 days, you'll see the fruit from that labor uh, absolutely turn into business that you can actually quantify.
Hmm. Nice. Okay. Well, I think those are all definitely great tips. Especially the 90-day rule. And, you know, it reminds me of Gary Keller, his book called The One Thing, and how he
Mm-hmm.
talks about, you know, focusing on that one thing, whatever it is, and getting it done. Have you read that book?
I have.
Yeah, it was eye opening because for me, I'm very very innovative, and so you know, having that entrepreneur spirit and being innovative, it's like I want to do everything, and of course I want to do it all at once, and it's like no, you got to focus on one thing to really give it your all. And like they say, you know, would you rather be a jack of all trades or a master of none?
Right.
Right. And for
Yeah.
those who are looking to master real estate and really take their real estate businesses seriously, you know, I think that's a great tip that you said right there. And even as far as individuals investing in themselves, so you already touched on, you know, as far as having a business coach, that is an investment. So what would you say as far as a new agent? You know, I guess as far as a new agent and a price point, like what would be a safe place, I guess, for them to stick with them for business coaching?
Um, So you can get business coaching on a lot of different levels. You know, you have to not be afraid to spend money on yourself,
Absolutely.
because one of the things that I always say is, look, either you are going to spend money on yourself or you're going to give it to the IRS. Pick one. And I would personally love to spend it on myself. And so, you can get business coaching on different levels. And I always say, just like, start going to conferences. There's a lot of different coaches out there that have their own conferences, and figure out which coach works for you. What coach works for this person may not work for this one. There's the Tom Ferries, the Mike Ferries, the Brian Buffini's. There's my coach, which is Empire University with Danny Morrell. There's all these different people that have coaching, but you can really absolutely understand their culture by going to one of their conferences or seminars. And most of the big dogs have conferences and seminars throughout the year.
Right. Okay.
And so I would recommend that you start with going to their conferences, really getting aligned with something. Like, you don't have any skin in the game, really, if you're not investing in yourself. And that's a lot of the problem.
Absolutely.
And so you need to really get skin in the game so you can be truly, fully vested in a business. Because even if you wouldn't work for somebody, there's absolutely no corporation that you would work for that refuses to pay for toilet paper. And that's what I equate it to when people are not investing in themselves.
Right. Okay. All righty. Well, that pretty much wraps our interview. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Shawneequa. I definitely took some notes, and I hope you guys did. I wrote down hustle, network, balance, the 90-day rule, live by your schedule, be consistent, 5-year forecast outcome, doing a business plan and a personal life plan. Girl, you get a coach, right? So you dropped so many jewels. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much for just sharing your expertise and taking that time out to, just let people know that it's not easy. This business is not easy, and people coming in the door thinking it is, you got another thing coming.
It's either you're going to be Walmart or you're going to be Nordstrom's. Which one are you going to be? Now, there's nothing wrong with being Walmart, but you absolutely need to figure out what level of work you're going to be either one.
Absolutely love it. Okay, well, thank you so much, Shawneequa. I definitely appreciate you, and I know everyone else listening appreciates you. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and make sure you come back tomorrow for your next session. This is Flippin' in Heels presents Prestigious Women in Real Estate. Thanks so much, Shawneequa.
Thank you.